Hey, this is Scene Detail. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for Bellator 61. It pretty much had the quarterfinals for the Middleweight Tournament and a couple prelims as well. There's not really much I can say about the prelims, to be perfectly honest. I'll talk a little bit about the Ultimate Fighter, but there's not too much I want to say about it. So let's just go start with Bellator and go from there. Okay. The Michael Falco beat Norman Perazzi by unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Admittedly, Falco was a bit tentative. As far as picks go, too, I got 6 of 8. The ones I missed were Brian Rogers versus Vitor Viana and Derek Krantz versus Eric Scallon. Okay. But I did get Falco beating Perazzi, and he kind of just outclassed them, to be honest. He beat him up on the feet, really strong leg kicks. I thought his hands were better than Perazzi's as well. His takedowns are better, his jiu-jitsu is better. Even off his back, I felt that he was getting better offense than that last part in the third round where Falco was on his back. I thought Falco was doing better on his back than Norman was doing on top. Falco's definitely an early favorite to win. He's kind of you kind of notice he's kind of a head case. I like the guy. I'm a fan of him. So I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that. I like I said, his skill set. He's pretty well rounded too. And I'd actually really, out of all the guys who won here, I'd really like to see him fight Hector Lombard. If Hector Lombard gets past Alexander Shlemenko, of course. I think Falco shouldn't have, I kind of wish he wasn't even cut from the UFC. Like I said, skill set wise, he hits really hard. He has some pretty fast hands, too. That's one thing I noticed about the guy. He does have some pretty fast hands. It wasn't like the brawl near the end. I mean, it was just like in the last 10 seconds, Falco was just getting the better of that brawl. He's just a faster fighter. I don't even know if Norman really hit him that much in that brief 10-second brawl. Like I said, though, Falco, skill-wise, he was a bit tentative, but I still feel that he's an early favorite to win this one. Next, right after that, we have Vyacheslav Vasilovski beating Victor Odonnell by unanimous decision. O'Donnell's a gamer, you know what I mean? During the predictions, we kind of just said he's good at everything, but not great at any one thing, and it kind of showed in this fight. He's a really game fighter. His stand-up's more, he wants to brawl, he loops his punch, he does a lot more looping punches, more hooks and stuff like that. Whereas Vasilovski, he saw him use jabs, he dropped him with a jab in the second round. His ground and pound's pretty good. I was really impressed with his ground and pound. Just constantly busy. Posture's up, which I really like to see. I really like to see a fighter, when they do ground and pound, they posture fully up and unleash ground and pound, because outside of standing, that's the best way to win by ground and pound. Guys the reason why a guy like John Fitch, that I notice, can't get the finish, despite having so much volume, is he never postures fully up. He doesn't really stand, too, when he unleashes ground and pound. I also just think, John Fitch doesn't really seem to hit that hard, too. But otherwise, he never actually commits to fully posturing up. That's the thing. Chael Sonnen, too, is like that as well. I think Sonnen's a little better about it, because I do see him stand and unleash ground and pound. But a lot of times, he doesn't always do that, and he doesn't always fully posture up when he unleashes ground and pound as well. So it's a nice. I mean, he didn't get the finish or anything, but he really beat him up really bad. You know, it was that type of ground and pound that's like noticeably weakened his opponent. And if Odonnell wasn't just such a tough guy, also, it could have potentially finished another fighter. I like Vasilovski's. I liked his footwork. I remember the predictions saying as much, and it really showed here. He uses straight punches, really like that. I like that he uses a jab, and like I said, his ground and pound is pretty strong. Another thing I like about him too is his cardio. You know, the way he looked in the first round was close to what he looked like in the third round. You know, he seemed to sit back a little more around the end of the third round, but otherwise, I was impressed with what I saw from him. He's still really young, but yeah, I was impressed with him. He's definitely a prospect to look out for. Okay, next fight after that, Bruno Santos beat Santana by unanimous decision. Not much to say about. You know, this was not the most aesthetically pleasing fight, for sure. It just, you know, it's two guys who are grapplers who, they couldn't utilize their grappling game for different reasons. Santana doesn't have the takedown ability, and also Bruno Santos is like short and stocky, but Santana just couldn't get him down. And Santos, he didn't want to take Santana down, especially around like the first and second round. You know, there's even that time in the second round where he did take him down, but he didn't want to commit to being like on top. So it's just one of those things where with Santana too, he couldn't take down Santos, but Santos could take down Santana pretty easily. Striking wise, you know, I'm not overly impressed with Santos. He still needs a lot of work. You know, his record really shows too. You know, he has now it's like his 11th decision victory. He's just not. He's not he's not a finisher yet, which is fine. You know, he's still young. He can develop that later. His stand up, like I said, just needs some work. He did manage to get top control on Santana, which Santana actually rolled for like a knee bar. So it just goes to show how dangerous Santana is on the ground. You know, Santos is a prospect. He's still young and still improving. So, you know, he's not like one of those prospects like, you know, like Vasilovski impressed me a lot. Santos, not so much, though. I think stylistically, though, his wrestling and top control game could work against maybe if he goes up against like Brian Rogers next. I'm not too sure who gets who next. You know, he can definitely stifle a guy like Rogers, possibly. Vasilovski, maybe he could do. You know, Victor Odonnell did manage to take down Vasilovski. Wouldn't be surprised if Santos could take him down if they fight. Falco is a different story. Falco actually shows some pretty good hips. That's the thing. He's also a short, stocky guy, too. So, I think Santos would have a pretty tough time against a guy like Falco, to be perfectly honest with you. Next one after that, Brian Rogers beat Vitor Viana by knockout by a flying knee in the first round. Good win from Rogers. You know, with Viana, you know, he wants to take the fight to the ground here, I think. But, you know, Rogers is standing, you know, this guy hits hard. And that's the thing. Really goes to show about Shlemenko's chin, too. Because when Rogers fought Shlemenko, I mean, he hit him square a couple times. And, you know, Shlemenko didn't go down. Rogers is a really exciting fighter. I mean, this guy he finishes opponents with strikes really well. Flying knees, you know, Dave said he has really good knees, you know. And it's true. He showed it here. That's the thing. He's got some heavy hands, too. he's a very interesting matchup for a lot of these guys. Like I said, stylistically, a guy like a Bruno Santos would probably just want to take him down a lot of times. So I don't think that's a good stylistic matchup for him as far as this tournament goes. I do like with Rodgers, though. I see that there is some urgency to get back to his feet. So that I really like that about him, though, even when he does get taken down. He'd make a very interesting fight against like a Michael Falco. Of course, Falco actually showed some offensive takedown ability here, so he might take down Rodgers. But if they ever do fight, hypothetically, if they stand with each other, it's gonna be pretty awesome. With Vasilovski, it'd be pretty awesome if you fought him too. So yeah, it should be really interesting how these semifinals go for sure. Quick prelim results. I didn't get to see the prelims, so I just read the results. Josh Coyhagen beat Brent Taylor by unanimous decision. I saw that he was beating him up on the feet. He threw combinations and whatnot. A little scare in the near the end of the third round. Otherwise, Josh here, he's starting to look like a prospect to look out for. Still young, good stand-up. Of course, he got some notoriety from beating Cosmo Alexander, but, 3-0 now. It's, I might watch out for this guy. Derek Krantz beat Eric Scallon. Jason Sampson beat Jamie Myers by rear naked choke in the third round. Krantz beat Scallon by Bravo choke in the first round. And Trey Houston armbarred Mississippi in the first round. So, on to the Ultimate Fighter, I guess. There's not really much to say. I can't really say much. Cool knee from James Vick. Cruikshank was doing good in the stand-up, especially with those kicks. Went for that takedown. But, he shot kind of far away. And Vick threw that knee and just knocked him out cold in the first round. Good stuff for him. There's not much I can say. I've seen Cruikshank fight in Strikeforce. I actually thought he was kind of like someone that could potentially win it. Cristiano Marcelo on Team Faber, of course, with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's really good. I missed a lot of the prelim fights, or the fights to get into the house. I saw most of them. I don't exactly remember who beat who and whatnot and how they looked. So like I said, I can't say much about it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's honestly pretty much it. I wish I had more to say about Ultimate Fighter, but I don't, really. I'm looking forward to Bellator, every Friday pretty much. And there's not like a UFC until like mid-April, so it's like all Bellator and like other smaller shows. And Ultimate Fighter to look forward to. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my post-fight analysis. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you very much.